Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, complaining loitering about card shop customers. It's now a card shop with drinks. Air Force commander makes a dumb policy. We all follow it to the letter out of spite and the commander gets taken down a few pegs by the local chief of police. Has to be an ice cream cone on it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Complaining loitering about card shop customers. It's now a card shop with drinks. Got this card shop I've been going to for probably a decade or so now. About 6 to 7 years ago, they were in this small plaza, just a bunch of storefronts next to each other off a major road with a shared tiny, like 20 spaces total, parking lot. A lot of people like to hang around the shop for hours, playing cards games, board games, minis games. We didn't buy things on the daily but would drop serious money on stuff every so often. Not sure why it started, but the other stores, mainly the restaurants that were there, started complaining we were taking up their parking spaces, which was causing them to lost customers, then complained we were loitering since we didn't buy anything. Even coming into the shop in personal to complain. We rarely parked too far from the card storefront since we kept our stuff in our cars. Want to play Warhammer? Let me get my army from the car. MTG. Need to grab my deck from the car. But the shops even starting giving us tickets for loitering in the plaza, putting them onto our cars. Card shop owner or CSO, who I know well from many games and hanging around, response with, "Okay, we can't have loiterers," and made some changes to the shop. We have a game library, like a floor-to-ceiling of shelves of a wall in the back full of board games for people like kids to grab and play that kind of grew over the years. To use the wall now, you needed to pay $5, but with that, you also get $5 credit for the store. Which included a newly installed mini fridge full of $1 cans of pop and snacks like chocolate bars and chips. We kept the receipts on our pockets or on the table next to us to display when they came around to complain. Tickets were stopped after a while since landlord heard about it and had a talking to the owners since he wasn't behind it. Also made it a point, the parking lot was for the plaza, not any specific storefront. We kept the receipts on hand still, almost like an inside joke, even newcomers did it after a while. Additional deliciousness. According to CSO, the restaurants kept bugging him about things from something he threw in the dumpsters to parking his car in the back, basically trying to push him out because the customers weren't the right kind, pretty sure more stereotyping than factual for reasons I'll get into. So when lease was up, he was out, moved to another plaza about 10 minutes ride away from first location he had secured months before the lease ended. Here's the thing about this card shop. It was very family friendly. We may get loud, but we never cursed and just ushered people who got riled up outside for cooldown. We had kids playing games in the back often. I sometimes was demanding a game for them. Why did we have kids in the shop? Because the parents were doing what got them together in the front area, trying to drop each other's life points to zero. We have several families who came to the shop from all many of fields. You think a rule lawyer is tiring, trying to argue with a real lawyer about rules. When the shop moved, so did these customers, but not sure why these restaurants didn't know or notice, so did their most frequent customers. Many of us brought our meals from these restaurants due to convenience of it, and selection of foods was decent. Food itself wasn't that good, but this was before food deliveries like Uber Eats was a thing. Nowadays, when I drive by the plaza en route to the shop and I chuckle. They definitely don't need to worry about a full lot, maybe a 1/4 full nowadays. The old card shop location seemed to rotate between shops, from a vapes to taxes to health shop, currently, for lease. Other shops also moved away from the plaza. The restaurants, one has closed down, boarded up with no sign changed as of this week. The other three seem to have upped their gimmicks based on windows full of deals. Food deliveries apps wise, they're not liked, citing poor quality, time and/or gouged prices. Air Force commander makes a dumb policy. We all follow it to the letter out of spite, and the commander gets taken down a few pegs by the local chief of police. While I was in the Air Force, we had a commander that was all about looking great to the public and nothing else. He didn't care for morale, personal time, or his troops in any way, shape, or form. In fact, he became our commander as a punishment when he was caught banging a deployed enlisted member's wife. He came from a family of a few 2- and 3-star generals, and because he got in trouble he was forced to command our shitty squadron with a forced retirement at lieutenant call after 2 years. So basically he hated us and we hated him the moment we saw each other. We knew how he got in trouble before he got to us, and we didn't take too kindly to it. For context, I was security forces, police, and part of our job is manning the gates and checking IDs for people coming in. There was always a morning rush from everyone coming into work at the same time that would cause traffic to back up. We would do things to try to get the cars moving faster, but no matter what we did it was always a problem, and of course it was always the new airman's fault that everyone starts work at the same time, so the gate guards always got yelled at a lot. Well, our fearless commander got a hair up his ass and thought it would be great if we said a prepared speech to everyone when they came in to show how disciplined we are. The speech went as follows. Hello, driver's rank and name. Welcome to installation name, home of the aircraft the installation was known for, and the home of our squadron name. Your ID will expire on date. Your vehicle's registration will expire on date on the sticker on their windshield. I authorize you to enter installation name. Have a great Air Force Day. Obviously everyone besides the leadership knew this was the dumbest thing ever, but the commander said we have to do it, so we have to do it. The young airmen were complaining about it when we all got on the same page at the same time. We decided that we were going to say the whole speech as slowly and clearly as possible to make sure everyone heard us. And we would do this to every single car with no exception. If the car had a passenger, we would repeat the speech with their information after doing it to the driver. If there was another passenger in the back, we would repeat it again. When our own chain of command would drive through, they would try to stop us from saying it, but he would keep their ID until we were done. Morning traffic went from being 2 hours long to 4 hours because of how long it took to get in, and created a lunch rush that never existed before. Many times we were yelled at about how long it took. We were making everyone late to work, and how much they hate that speech, so we would tell them this is per our commander's request and his office phone number is public if you would like to talk to him about it. The traffic got so backed up the local police had to direct traffic outside the base as the line of cars grew to a mile or 2 long. This lasted 3 days before the chief of police for the local city and our base commander let our commander know how they really felt about it. When we were told we no longer had to do it, our shift supervisor told us he had never been so proud of us. Having the second highest ranking person on that base tell me to my face that speech was so dumb. Never say that again, as he drove off, is the highlight of my Air Force career. Has to be an ice cream cone on it. This is a minor thing, but it was fun to do. So at my college, you weren't allowed to take food out of the dining hall unless it was a single piece of fruit, or an ice cream cone. Yeah, the food we paid for, we weren't allowed to take. We could only eat it there. They considered it stealing. We all knew that this was a **T rule, but you could get in real trouble for it. I got really good at sneaking food out. But one day while studying in my room, I wanted a giant bowl of ice cream, which is hard to sneak. So I grabbed my soup bowl, headed over to the dining hall, and loaded it as full of ice cream as I could manage. When I was done, about 6 scoops later, I stuck an ice cream cone on top, nodded to the person who was working at the cash register, and walked back to my room. They never changed the rule as long as I was there either, so this happened a bunch of times. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.